So we're jumping into the world of the legendary strategist Miyamoto Musashi, and we're going to start exactly where he did, right here, on solid ground. This is all about the Earth Scroll, the crucial first step on any path to true mastery. But first, let's talk about a very modern problem. Why do we chase style over actual skill? You see it everywhere, right? People want the fancy new trick, the quick hack, the thing that looks impressive. We get so drawn to the appearance of being good at something that we forget to build the real skill that actually holds up when it matters. And you know what's wild? Musashi was talking about this exact same thing hundreds of years ago.
He had this perfect way of describing it. He said, we've started treating the nut as if it's less important than the flower. And that just nails it, doesn't it? We all get obsessed with the flower. It's beautiful, it's flashy, but it's temporary. We forget that all the real substance, all the potential, is locked away inside the nut. We're chasing the flourish and we're losing the foundation.
So in this explainer, we're getting back to the nut. We are going to dig into what a real foundation actually means, what tools you need to build it for yourself, and I'll give you a super simple plan to get started on that solid ground today. So what was Musashi's solution to this whole style over substance trap? Well, it was the Earth Scroll. And he called it the Earth Scroll for a reason, because it's all about creating that solid, stable, dependable ground that you can build everything else on top of. Now, the Earth Scroll isn't about some secret hidden technique. It's actually the total opposite. Musashi called it a straight road mapped out on the ground. Just think of it like that. A practical, no-fluff guide to getting good at anything that matters to you. Your career, a skill, even your relationships. It's the clear, direct path to begin the journey. And to make this really concrete, Musashi used this brilliant analogy, the way of the master carpenter. He said a strategist's plan is just like a carpenter's blueprint. A carpenter has to know the rules, they have to master their tools, and they have to follow a clear plan to build something that won't fall down. And that's the mindset we need to bring to our own lives. We are the architects. He also had this powerful way of thinking about the learning process itself. He said the teacher is like a needle. They can pierce the fabric, they can show you the way. But the student has to be the thread. You have to actively follow through. This isn't something you can just read about in a book. It demands that you get your hands dirty and practice constantly. So what does that daily practice actually look like? Okay, let's turn these big ideas into real-world action. We're going to look at the core principles, the mindset you need for the Earth Scroll. You can really boil his method down to 3 main pillars. First, know your tools. This means getting deeply familiar with your core skills and keeping them sharp. Second, embrace calm repetition. See, mastery comes from steady, consistent work, not from short, frantic bursts of effort. And third, and this one might be the most important, do nothing that is useless. Just be ruthless about cutting out wasted effort. Now, in our world, your tools are your skills, your knowledge, your resources. Musashi really believed that if you respect your craft, you have to respect your tools. Trying to work with a dull or poorly maintained tool, to him, that wasn't just inefficient, it was a failure of character. It's on us to keep our own essential skills sharp and ready to go. And yeah, this takes patience. In a world that's totally obsessed with instant results, the Earth Scroll is a reminder that mastery is a long journey, not a finish line. It's about walking that path, one step at a time. The goal isn't to be fast. The goal is just to keep walking, steadily, without getting discouraged by how far you have to go. Okay, so this ancient wisdom is awesome, but how do we actually use it in our modern lives, with all the notifications and distractions? Let's make this really practical. We can apply this thinking to 3 big pillars of modern life: our work, our relationships, and our habits. And for each of these, the Earth Scroll gives us a clear focus and a key practice to work on. So let's break them down. So at work, this means you have to resist that urge to jump on every new trend. Instead, figure out what the absolute fundamentals of your job are and just master them. When you practice those core skills so much they become second nature, you build a reputation for being stable and reliable. You become the person who everyone can count on, especially when things get chaotic. In our relationships, the Earth Scroll is all about emotional stability. It's about being a centered, calming presence instead of reacting to every little emotional storm. That kind of consistency builds a foundation of safety. And just like a good carpenter, you also need a reliable way to repair things when they break. A repeatable process for taking responsibility and fixing issues, so small cracks don't turn into huge problems. And when it comes to our habits, the strategy here is to remove friction. Look, willpower alone is almost never enough. Instead, you have to be strategic and engineer your environment. This is Musashi's idea of doing nothing useless in action. Get rid of the distractions that trip you up. If you want to read more, put a book where you normally put your phone. Just make the right choice the easiest choice.
Okay, understanding all this is a great first step, but the path is learned by walking it. So, to finish up, let's turn all this knowledge into immediate action with a really simple practice plan. Here's how you can start today. First, just choose one area to focus on. Seriously, just one. Second, define your foundation. What are the 2 or 3 absolute non-negotiable basics of that thing? Third, identify the friction. What's one useless thing you can remove right now to make it easier? And finally, schedule a short, consistent time for that calm repetition. We're not talking about a marathon here, just a brief daily walk on the path.
So, as we wrap up, let's just run through these core principles one last time. It all starts with building on solid ground. You've got to adopt that carpenter's mentality, focusing on the fundamentals. Commit to calm daily practice instead of intense sprints. Use all your tools and skills effectively. Maintain a centered, stable mind. And last but not least, be ruthless in your focus. Do nothing which is of no use.
And this brings us to the final and really the most important question, one that only you can answer. When you look at your life right now, your work, your relationships, your habits, what foundation will you choose to build first?
Because once we've established our solid ground, we're ready for the next stage, learning to be as adaptable and as fluid as water. We'll explore exactly that in our next explainer on the Water Scroll. You can find the full Book of 5 Ring series right here on the channel. Keep building.